In this crazy global AI race we're seeing in 2026, it feels like the finish line just keeps getting pushed further and further away. But what if winning isn't actually about being the fastest? What if it's about being the smartest? Well, today we're going to dive deep into the story of Mistral AI. They're this European challenger that's playing a totally different game. They're not trying to outspend their rivals, they're trying to outthink them.
All right, so first, let's set the stage. The AI world right now, it's pretty much dominated by a few American giants. We're talking about companies like OpenAI and Google, and they've basically defined the rules of the game with a very simple, very powerful, and incredibly expensive philosophy. Go big or go home.
And when I say expensive, I am not kidding. A company like OpenAI has burned through, get this, $5.5 billion just to train its giant models and grab market share. That's a staggering amount of money, and it's created this super high stakes, super high cost barrier to even get in the game. So naturally, this brings up a huge question. Is this really the only way to win at AI, just pouring endless billions into bigger and bigger models? Well, a company over in Paris decided to answer that question with a very loud, very clear no.
And this right here, this is the perfect way to see the two clashing ideas at the heart of this whole story. On one side, you've got what's basically the US scaling law. Throw more money at it, get more data, build bigger models. Simple. But on the other side, you've got the Mistral thesis. And this is all about architectural efficiency, releasing open-weight models for everyone, and using your money strategically, not just burning through massive piles of it.
So, with this completely different philosophy, you've got a European David stepping into an arena full of Goliaths. Let's meet this challenger.
Say hello to Mistral AI. Now their mission, it's not just about building really cool AI. It's way bigger than that. They want to build a true European champion, making sure the continent has its own technological independence, so it's not just relying on US platforms for something this important.
And guess what? The market is loving this approach. By January 2026, Mistral hit an absolutely massive valuation of 11.7 billion euros. And look, this isn't just your typical startup hype. This is a huge vote of confidence that their different path, well, it might just be the right one.
Okay, so how exactly are they pulling this off? Well, Mistral's core strategy isn't about outspending anyone. Nope, it's about outsmarting them. And they're making a really clever bet on one key thing: efficiency. Their secret weapon is this technology called Mixture-of-Experts, or MOE for short. Now just think of it like this. It's a team of specialists. So instead of having one giant, super energy-hungry brain trying to solve every single problem you throw at it, the system is smart. It routes your question to only the one small, specific expert that's needed for that job. And the result? It saves an absolutely incredible amount of computing power and, you guessed it, money.
And here's what that actually looks like in practice. So their big flagship model, Mistral Large 3, has this huge library of knowledge. We're talking 675 billion parameters. You can kind of think of parameters as individual facts or skills. But, and this is the magic part, thanks to that MOE architecture, it only needs to wake up about 6% of them. That's the 41 billion active part you see here to answer your question. So what does that mean for you? Well, you get all the power of a massive model, but you only pay the running cost of a much smaller one. It is a total game changer.
Now, this super efficient approach, it has attracted some very serious money. We're talking a massive 1.7 billion euro Series C funding round. But the real story, the real surprise, wasn't the amount. It was who led the round.
And this is probably the most strategic part of the entire story. See, the lead investor wasn't some typical VC firm from Silicon Valley. No way. It was the company that literally builds the machines, that build the chips, that power the entire AI revolution. That company is ASML. They're the Dutch giant that makes the super advanced machines that companies like NVIDIA need to create their chips. And this partnership, it's huge for three big reasons. First, you get this amazing feedback loop. Mistral's AI helps ASML design better chips, and those better chips can then train even better AI. It's a virtuous cycle. Second, this creates a fully European supply chain, a sovereign tech stack, from the hardware all the way up to the software. And third, and this is so important, it brings in patient, long-term industrial capital. We're talking about investment that's focused on building something that lasts, not just the crazy short-term pressure for quick profits you get from most VCs.
So, okay, they've got this powerful strategy, they've got this incredible backing, so what have they actually built? Let's take a look inside Mistral's model arsenal.
Right, so the Mistral 3 family, it really shows off their two-pronged attack. Up top, you've got the big one, Mistral Large 3, for all the heavy-duty data center tasks. But then, you've got this whole family of smaller, dense models. And these are designed to run super efficiently on everything from a regular consumer GPU all the way down to your mobile phone. But check out that license column, Apache 2.0. You know what that means? These models are open source. Mistral is literally giving this powerful tech away for anyone to use and build on top of. That is a direct shot at the closed-off, walled garden ecosystems of their rivals.
And listen, they're moving way beyond just simple chatbots. They're building specialized AI agents that can actually do stuff. Take Devstral 2, for instance. It can go into a codebase, find bugs, and fix them, all on its own. Then there's Magistral, which is like a reasoning engine that actually thinks about a complex problem before spitting out an answer. They've even got Vibe, which plugs AI right into a developer's workflow. And their OCR model, it can finally unlock all that valuable data that's been trapped for decades in old scanned PDFs. So you see, it's not just one model, it's a whole ecosystem of powerful tools.
Okay, so the million-dollar question. How does all this clever strategy and impressive tech actually stack up against the competition? All right, let's be real here. When it comes to the absolute bleeding edge of PhD-level scientific reasoning, yeah, there's a gap. This chart makes it pretty clear. Right now, Mistral Large 3 is trailing the newest massive models from OpenAI and Google on these super tough academic benchmarks. But then you look at something incredibly practical and valuable like autonomous coding. And here, their specialized agent, Devstral 2, is right up there at the top. It's performing almost identically to the best model in the world. And this shows that their strategy, focusing on targeted excellence in key areas, is absolutely working.
And that brings us to what might be Mistral's killer advantage, the economics. I mean, look at this. At just $2 per million input tokens, their main API completely undercuts the competition. And for any business that needs total privacy and control, you can self-host these models on your own servers, which can slash your total AI cost by as much as 70%. That's world-class performance at a price that changes the entire game.
But when you really look at it, Mistral's strategy is about something much bigger than just business. It's really about building a future where Europe gets to control its own technological destiny.
And they deliver on this idea of sovereignty as a service in a few really key ways. For one, their models are built from the ground up to comply with Europe's strict AI Act, which just gets rid of a ton of legal headaches. They also let businesses run the AI on their own servers, on-premise, which means if you're a bank or a hospital, your super sensitive data never ever leaves your building. Plus, their huge deal with the French military, that's the ultimate proof that their tech is trusted for mission-critical, high-security stuff. And they're not just focused on France. With initiatives like AI for Germany, they're showing they're here for the whole continent.
So, for European governments, for defense agencies, for any industry with strict regulations, the conclusion is becoming pretty clear. Mistral isn't just another option on the menu anymore. It's becoming a strategic imperative for the continent's entire digital future. And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. As we dive deeper and deeper into this age of AI, the race is definitely on. But maybe, just maybe, the biggest question isn't who can build the biggest brain, but rather, who can build the smartest, most efficient, and most accessible one.